located in the archives. Press 9 to hear more options. Press 0.
What are you talking about?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got for you three easy, delicious vegan meals. Because I work full time, being able to meal prep and just have, easy go-to meals that are all different, not in the same flavor profile at all, is really key to me, to keeping things interesting and to keep me motivated to keep meal prepping and be prepared all the time. So yeah, I really hope that you like these recipes. They're all, I'm pretty sure, way less than 10 ingredients each. So yeah, I think some of them are even like, maybe 5 or less. So really, you cannot go wrong. So yeah, let's get into it.
Up first, we've got breakfast. And for breakfast, we are making a spiced, warm apple cinnamon streusel yogurt parfait. Or it could just be a yogurt bowl. And so for that, we're just going to need 1 small to medium apple, diced small and cubed. You can take the skin off if you want. It doesn't bother me when it's warmed, so I just left mine on. And for mine, I used a pink lady apple because they're very sweet. And then we've got maple syrup, vegan butter, oats, about a small handful of crushed walnuts. Again, if you don't like walnuts, feel free to substitute with another nut, or if you have a nut allergy, just omit altogether. It doesn't matter. And finally, cinnamon. In a heating frying pan, we're going to add about a tablespoon of vegan butter. And just let that coat the bottom and get all nice and melty. When the butter starts to bubble and get hotter, we can add our apples. And give them a good toss. And then we want to add in the slightest pinch of salt, and I mean like half of a pinch, just to bring out the sweetness of the apples and the butter and the maple syrup that we eventually put in. Once it's been another couple of minutes, we can go ahead and add our cinnamon. This is really kind of up to you. I'm probably putting at least a teaspoon. And we'll also get in our maple syrup, which again, eyeball it. I'll probably put in about a teaspoon. If you had vanilla extract, you could definitely add that at this point, and it would give it a little bit more of that like warm vanilla ice cream apple cobbler flavor. But I'm going to stick away from that. And traditionally, you would add, instead of maple syrup, you would be adding brown sugar or just white sugar. But, trying to keep things a little healthier. Now, once your apples have got some really good color on them, we can go ahead and take them out and set them aside to cool. And now, with the pan still very hot, we will add our oats. I've got about a tablespoon, and the chopped walnuts. And we're just gonna kind of toast them in all that residual apple goodness. don't walk away from this because you definitely don't want your oats to burn, especially because now we're going to add just a little touch more of cinnamon and the smallest touch more of salt. And after just, a couple minutes or two, I really, not even like more than 5 minutes, I would say max, this is done. And we can set this aside and then now build our yogurt bowl. I've got my little yogurt dish set up, got my spoon, and now, because I didn't add the vanilla extract to our apples over here earlier, I'm going to be using this So Delicious yogurt that is unsweetened vanilla. So I'm going to get that vanilla taste. And now I do want to kind of make this sort of trifly. I'm gonna put a layer of apples on the bottom. Some yogurt. Some more apples. Some more yogurt. And then that final layer of apples. And of course I missed. Okay, and then our crumble. Fall in a cup. For lunch, we're going to spice it up a bit, but still keep it just as nice and delicious and low carb. So what we're going to do is make a really, really nice, albeit a bit untraditional, Korean soft tofu kimchi stew, which is kimchi sundubu jjigae. So we're going to get started on that. What you'll need is I've got a quarter of an onion, 2 garlic cloves. We're going to do about like half this tray of chopped kimchi, soft tofu. I'll probably end up using about half the block. And then for the broth, this is where it gets a bit untraditional. So you're typically supposed to use, if you need a vegetarian version, you can use vegetable broth. I'm not a fan of vegetable broth, so what I use is the vegan chicken broth, the Better Than Bouillon, and I do it very lightly so it's not overpoweringly, chickeny. And then I mix in some of this furikake seasoning that has seaweed and sugar. Unfortunately, it also has the sesame seeds in it, which is kind of like a no-go. But since traditionally what's used is a veggie broth or a kelp broth, this helps at least give it that seaweed, less chickeny flavor. So I've mixed some of that into the broth to give it that extra oomph so that it's not just chicken broth that we're using. And then we also need sesame oil and red pepper flakes or gochugaru. And these are really, really hot. So when you see how much I add, it's gonna be totally up to you if you can handle that kind of spice. Otherwise, kind of eyeball it. But yeah, this is it. This is all we'll need for this recipe, and a few green onions just to top. But otherwise, how easy. To a heated pot, again, untraditional because I don't have the stoneware vessel that they use to traditionally cook sundubu jjigae in, so that it keeps it boiling all the time and delicious. But this is the best I have, so that's fine. We're just gonna add about a teaspoon or two of sesame oil to the bottom of the pan, and then we're gonna get in our onions and garlic. We're also going to add the gochugaru at this point. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons, start from there. If I have to add more later, I will. Next, we can add our chopped kimchi. Stir. And once that's had some time to do its thing and soften and get everything melded together, we can add our broth. Now, I prepared 2 cups of broth, but you want to add this a little at a time. Get it up to boiling. I think I'm probably going to use the 2 cups. I think that'll be a nice full pot. And of course mine had to spill everywhere. Yay! So we will cover this and let it do its thing. Once your jjigae is boiling, then we can add the tofu. Now, I'm adding soft tofu because I don't really prefer silken. I mean, this is pretty close to silken, but yeah, there's a Korean silken tofu brand that would actually be perfect in this, but I didn't have access to it, so we're just going to loosely crumble this. You still want there to be big chunks, and then we can just break it up when it's in the pot. And I want to note that I've also chosen to add a lot less tofu than you normally would to this dish. Usually you would add a whole pack, but I'm less here for the tofu. I'm more here for the spicy and the kimchi. So that's just a preference, but yeah, otherwise feel free to add the whole container of tofu. And now we'll let this boil again and it will be done. All right, our soup has come to a boil again. So it's basically done at this point, and you can stop right now. Ideally serve it boiling if possible and just top it with your green onions, or check it first, even though we've put a lot of salty things into here, especially because I used the Better Than Bouillon no chicken broth. It still might need a little bit of salt after you add the tofu, because it'll keep it a little bit mild. So just keep that in mind. Add the slightest pinch of salt and you should be good to go. For dinner, we are making something just as easy as our first 2 meals, but a little more filling and substantial. And for that, we're making Cajun garlicky Cajun white bean patties with veggies on the side. So for our white bean mixture here, I ended up mashing them mostly with my hands. I used navy bean, but you could totally use any other white bean. Probably like a butter bean would be good and scrumptious in this, or a cannellini bean. And then I added about a 1/4 cup of chopped white onion, garlic powder, basil, oregano, and thyme. And then I also added in some of this Cajun Creole seasoning and Trader Joe's umami seasoning. So good. And then I eyeballed it. I added in some chickpea flour, garbanzo bean flour, to bind it all together and make it thick and not as loose and soupy and goopy. And then to make the cakes, I'm going to get out a good tablespoonful or so, a good handful, make them into little patties, and then I'm going to bread them in this panko mixture that is panko, salt, garlic powder, parsley, and a little bit of this Cajun seasoning again. And then we're going to fry them up. And I'm going to do it I'm going to pan fry them, but you could totally do them in the air fryer to make it a little less health conscious. Or, I'm sorry, a little more health conscious. When the oil is nice and hot, you can add your patties. Because we made this quick and easy and didn't add a, egg batter or any sort of batter to coat these before putting on the breading. Breading may fall off, but that's totally okay. You can just press on some more. Or if you really, have the time to wait and don't want this to be like a super quick recipe, you can totally coat them in the breadcrumbs and then put them in the fridge or freezer for 20 to 30 minutes, and that way they'll be hardened on there and then you can fry. Once your patties are golden brown on both sides and heated through, you can plate and serve them. I'm going to be serving mine over a bed of sauteed garlic kale. And here are our finished patties. Now, what I like to do is serve them with a sauce. Particularly tonight, I'm gonna put a drizzle of ranch. Kind of like a crab cake feel, but heartier. And there we go.
All right, guys, that's it. I hope you like these recipes. I'll have the full instructions, recipes, blah, 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 down below in the description box. And while you're going to look at that, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you're notified when new videos go up. I make new videos every week, so yeah, stay tuned for the next, and I will see you all next time. Bye!